Yesterday was not one of the better days for some of those in conservative media. Really goes to show how many prominent media figures sometimes do not fact check their sources. And look, I'm not knocking them for it. We are all guilty of it at some point. There have been times when I'm in a rush to get a video published for one reason or another, and I don't do my due diligence to cross-check a source, and I end up getting something wrong. I'm guilty of it sometimes too. That is exactly what happened yesterday morning with all this controversy surrounding Miller Lite. They were trying to create a Bud Light 2.0. I did not think that this Miller Lite ad campaign, I didn't think it came even remotely close to being as egregious when you compare it to what Bud Light presented. Now, that does not mean I agree with the Miller Lite commercial. They completely missed the mark. But I don't think it's going to cause the same backlash. From what I can tell, this controversy with Miller Lite started yesterday morning with a tweet from the Daily Wire. The Daily Wire, they sent out a tweet which included video that I'm about to share with you guys. And the Daily Wire said in the tweet, "Looks like Miller Lite has jumped into the woke beer game." Conservative media outlets, they took this, they trusted it, and they ran with it. They shaped the narrative that Miller Lite saw what happened to Bud Light and tried to one-up them. They tried to steal the woke love away from Bud Light. But as it turns out, this Miller Lite commercial, it was published in early March, a full month before Bud Light had relations with Dylan Mulvaney and ran out of Preparation H. Now don't get me wrong. This campaign from Miller Lite, it was still out of touch. Especially with normal people, it was still condescending. They did their best to check the woke boxes. But with all of this focus being placed on Miller Lite, trying to emulate Bud Light, I felt like there was a major point that was being overlooked. First, let's go ahead and get into the ad, then I'll break down what was missed yesterday. Back in March, Miller Lite decided, we want to educate our beer drinkers. We want to lead them out of mythical misogyny and into the world of acceptance. I don't think beer drinkers are looking to be educated. Vast majority of people, they are looking for one thing and one thing only in their preferred choice of beer. Will it get me drunk? The beer industry is facing a major problem. Well, Casey, no shit. They are losing billions of dollars from boycotts. I know, but they're facing a far more serious problem. The beer industry has been plagued by toxic masculinity. Companies like Miller Lite, they are the reason the disease of toxic masculinity has infected the industry. Miller Lite decided they wanted to atone for their sins. They wanted to atone for their past transgressions of objectifying innocent women. What was their act of contrition? What punishment was handed down by deacons at Woke United Methodist? Miller Lite produced a commercial where some unknown woman is condescendingly preaching to drunk men. Watch it for yourself.
From Mesopotamia to the Middle Ages to colonial America, women were the ones doing the brewing. Centuries later, how did the industry pay homage to the founding mothers of beer? They put us in bikinis. Wow. Look at this wild. It's time beer made it up to women. So today, Miller Lite is on a mission to clean up not just their but the whole beer industry's Miller Lite has been scouring the internet for all this and buying it back so that they can turn it into good for women brewers. Literally, good here's to women, because without us, there would be no beer.
Hopefully they allowed the clip to go through, but just in case they didn't and you didn't see it, there ain't nothing special about it. It's some woman teaching beer-consuming men who could not give a fuck less that women were the originators when it comes to making beer. Do you care? When you order a Miller Lite at the bar, do you think to yourself, I wonder who invented Miller Lite? No. This time of year, the only thing I'm thinking when I order a beer is how long will it take before it gets hot. There's a lot of speculation about the possibility of there being a boycott of Miller Lite. I don't know if that's going to happen. If it does, I don't think it will come close to reaching the magnitude of this boycott of Bud Light. Here's the thing. The boycott of Bud Light, it was not started by the media. This potential Miller Lite boycott, it is being pushed by conservative media, which is fine. That's fine. If you want to boycott Miller Lite for being fake feminist, go for it. I am all for not supporting the woke. But the reason the boycott of Bud Light has been so effective, it was started by normal people. It was the definition of a grassroots campaign. I feel like there's been a couple of things overlooked with this Miller Lite commercial. Yeah, it can be classified as woke. Yes, it's fake feminism. It's subtly pointing out toxic masculinity. Covers all the woke boner favorites. But the one thing that stood out to me the most was the hypocrisy. In 2023, this year, what has been the biggest cause at Woke United Methodist? 2020, 2021, they were combating mythical racism, the same mythical racism that they created. Last year, they were focused on flaunting their gay pride. This year, there has been this intense focus on normalizing the transgender lifestyle. More specifically, normalizing the transition from male to female. They don't focus on the ladies who are clearing the shelves of Just for Men. They don't focus on the Bob Griners, the Megan Rapinos, the women who are jealous of ZZ Top. How do they grow those beards? I have been trying for 36 years to look like a man. I even shaved my head, and the closest I can get is being identified as a prepubescent boy. The primary focus of the deacons has been on men becoming women. And you want to lecture real men, you want to lecture real women about the supposed misogyny that comes from women wearing bikinis? You want to claim these poor innocent women are being used and objectified? You want to criticize beautiful women in bikinis, then you want to turn around and praise Dylan Mulvaney in a bikini? How in the hell does that make sense? What your message is basically saying is, it is sexy for men pretending to be women to wear bikinis, but it's misogyny when actual women wear bikinis. Doesn't make sense to me, but what the hell do I know? I'm not a shit fuck. I also find it strange. Miller Lite is apologizing for their past misogyny, and at the same time, they were blurring out the faces of real women. We can't show their faces. That would encourage real men to grease the propeller. We only want the boners excited when seeing sexy photos of Rachel Levine. It's like they're trying to change the laws of attraction. They want men attracted to men pretending to be women, and they want real women covered in business suits trying to fill the gender roles of men. I hate to burst the woke bubble, but unless your name is God, you can't change the laws of attraction. You know how women attract men? Most dudes could care less about their bank account. They don't care where they work. Women attract men through their physical appearance. That's how it works initially anyway. But it's the complete opposite for women. Women are attracted to a man's charm, his humor. They want to know he can provide and protect her. There is no amount of brainwashing that can change that. I have yet to meet the shit fuck that has the ability to change the laws of nature. That doesn't mean they won't try. Hell, they've been trying for decades to confuse gender roles, especially when it pertains to the traditional family. Now, even though conservative media initially got some of this story wrong with Miller Lite, that is not what matters here. What matters is enough normal people care to make it go viral. Like I told you guys last week, we are starting to see a shift in this country. Normal people are finally taking action. They're finally pushing back against Woke United Methodist. I believe this resistance is going to change how these major corporations conduct themselves, at least publicly. We've already seen the NBA kind of distance themselves from the bullshit. People are tired of being lectured. I don't need beer companies lecturing me on toxic masculinity, their own toxic masculinity. I don't need beer companies trying to brainwash me, trying to normalize a lifestyle that most people who consume their products will never understand. These major corporations, they claim to be all about diversity, equity, and inclusion. But it's all a facade. It is nothing but an illusion. At the end of the day, these companies, they only care about one thing, the non-binary. Last I checked, Money doesn't have the ability to choose its own gender. These corporations only care about their bottom line. It only takes one boycott, only takes one major company to be negatively impacted for all other companies to take notice. I don't care how big the company is. Once you start losing billions and billions of dollars because you wanted to play the butt bongo with a transgender influencer, your mentality has a tendency to shift. All of a sudden, you don't give a shit about diversity, equity, and inclusion. The only equity you care about is all the lost equity in your bank account. We are already seeing it with Bud Light. Bud Light, they are trying to get as far away from Dylan Mulvaney as possible. It's been 7 weeks since Dylan Mulvaney destroyed the reputation of Bud Light? How many new endorsement deals has Dylan Mulvaney signed since then? To my knowledge, 0. Bobby D had deals already signed, but to my knowledge, since corporate America witnessed the backlash of Bud Light firsthand, Dylan Mulvaney hadn't signed another deal. Corporate America bit into the shit sandwich that the mainstream media was serving. The media calls people like Bobby D transgender influencers, when the truth is, they have 0 influence over the majority of the American population. The only influence Dylan Mulvaney has is influencing normal people not to buy your products. You want to target the identifier market? Fine. That's one hell of a business plan if your goal is going out of business. But give me your thoughts. Do you think there will be a boycott of Miller Lite? I have my doubts. I don't think their commercial will cause enough outrage, but look, I could be wrong about it. You let me know. Sound off in the comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe. Click the notification bell to receive all notifications from the channel. Best way to contact me is by email at btlkc84@gmail.com, kc_btl84 on Twitter. I'll see you guys later.